Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Moreno Kacapor, who will fight on Lions FC 11 June 7th. Hello, Moreno. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And also, I think that your next fight is quite an interesting heavyweight bout because you are one of the best heavyweight in Europe, and you will be facing a fighter who fought for the Contender Series. He's also, I think, that quite a big threat, especially in the stand-up department. So, if you can tell me, what do you think about your opponent, and what do you think can be next if you will win this fight?
So, yeah, about my opponent, I have to be honest, I didn't look into it too much yet because I was focusing on my training myself. But I will look into it. I know that he's a good stand-up fighter. I think in his record, most of his fights he finished in the first round, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to handle if it would go to a further round than the first round. And yeah, if I win this bout, I think I have quite some good chances to fight at the Contender Series myself because I think if I can take him as a stepping stone, because I can maybe talk to the UFC and say, look, you wanted to have this guy on your roster. It didn't work out, but it was a prospect for you. And if I can beat him with a finish, I can say, look, the last guy that finished him was in the UFC, is doing good. So maybe you want to give me a chance too for the Contender Series and see how it's going to play out.
I think that for like few last years you built your name as the one of the best heavyweights in Europe because also you faced really good competition like Mario Pinto, like Sutherland, who also is a really good heavyweight. So I think that this kind of experience can also help you in your next fight.
Yeah, definitely. That's the good thing about my career. I always faced some strong fighters, especially early on. So I gained a lot of experience. I had some hard fights too, and I learned a lot from that. And from that, I can just build up. So I think I'm in a good position to fight my next opponent.
And actually, I thought that maybe the before your fight in December, you can be a fighter who get like some maybe short notice opportunity because at that point you were in 4 fights winning streak process. So I think that it was a really good like moment for you to join to the UFC. But probably when you beat like Contender Series veteran, it also will be like great point. And I think that especially in the heavyweight division, like UFC always needs some good prospects because heavyweight is not so deep. So if we have like very good like heavyweight on the regional scene, he should
Hmm.
probably have a little bit like shorter route to get there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always open for short notice fights, but I think it's kind of hard to get short notice fights in Europe unless the event itself is in Europe, because I think there's a lot of paperwork to do for a short notice fight if you are from Europe, right? If you would be like in the US, I think you have better chances to get short notice fights because they have more events there, and so they have also like more pullouts there in that division. So I think your chances are better to get short notice in the US. But I'm always open if they need someone in Europe, like in Paris or London. They do an event there. I'm always open for short notice. I never say no. As long as I can move, I'm kind of healthy. I take it. I don't care.
And you were champion, heavyweight champion in Levels Fight League, and
Yes.
for now you will fight in other promotion. But
Yeah.
if the UFC will not be for you on the Contender Series in your next fight, do you think that you can fight again for Levels Fight League?
Maybe. I don't know yet. So my goal now is to try to get that Contender Series spot. I think I'm quite in a good position because if you watch my fights, the I have 3 losses in my career, and in my opinion, I only really lost one. If you just watch the fights, you can see like I was in most of the losses, I was dominant. So I think if they just watch these two, not just the record, they will see that I'm not that that I'm quite good, you know. So I think I could be a good plus for the UFC if they gave me the chance to prove myself. But yeah, if the UFC Contender Series is not working out, I didn't have made plans yet, but I take fights everywhere. But also, I think there's some good organizations like in Germany or Poland, like KSW or the Octagon is pretty big right now at the moment. So I think this is also some opportunities that I could take there.
For this fight, you train in your main gym, in a Fight Move Academy.
Yes, always, always.
And do you have like sparring partners like you, like light heavyweights or heavyweights, the like bigger fighters? Do you have a chance to spar with like heavyweights?
Not that much. I don't have really heavyweights. That's why Mario's trainer, Stuart, he invited me to come over to London to train with them. I definitely pick him up on that offer one time because I don't have heavyweights. I have a middleweight. He's walking around with 100 kilos, so and he's pretty strong. He's one of the best I know, and I can a lot profit from him because he has a lot of experience and he's always giving me a hard time. So yeah, he's my main sparring partner is Enrique Shigomoto from Ares. He's really look him up if you want to see a good fighter. He's a top tier guy.
Yes, I believe that he also fought for the Contender Series, if I'm correct.
Yes, he did. He did. I think he also was winning the fight until he made a mistake. He made one mistake, and his opponent was really good too. So he took the chance and took him in a choke. But yeah, we'll see. He's gonna fight for the RS title soon. In I think in 4th of July, and we will see if he wins that. Maybe some opportunities gonna open up for him.
And about your beginnings in the sport, because like watching your fights, it's like obvious that you are a very good striker. You have a good movement, punches, kicks. But
Mhm.
before the like start of your MMA training, do you have any like boxing or kickboxing experience?
No, I don't have. I didn't have boxing experience like that. Like early on, I started in a karate club. They sold it as MMA classes, but they weren't really doing MMA classes because, to be honest, I don't know if you're familiar with animes. You know animes, the Japanese comic style, right? And I learned my boxing from there. So I was beating up the people in the club there just with the skills I learned from there. So yeah, but my first real fighting sport I learned was grappling, like BJJ, and then I from there I had a couple of fights in the amateur division, and then I was like, I didn't feel well in my stand-up game, so I focused like 2 or 3 years just on kickboxing. No, I didn't do nothing else on the side, just kickboxing. And when I felt good there too, I started to mix it up and learn everything at the same time, you know. And that's how I came up with my whole that's my beginning actually.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because like in your fights, it's like moving forward, big punches, big kicks. But here you started with more of the like different part of the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I usually use my striking a lot. I don't go a lot to the ground, but that's the cool part. I'm always like good on the ground. I'm never like most of the fighters, if they hear like your opponent is a really good grappler, they just try to avoid him by any chance to go down. But I'm not like that. I go down because I know I'm quite good on the ground. I won a couple championships there too, and yeah, so I feel comfortable, but I try to not show too much, you know, try to keep some stuff back because my striking, all the people saw my striking, so it's okay for me when they see that, but they're not going to see when I'm coming to the ground, you know, because I had a good black belt when I fought in RS. I fought one fight in RS. I fought a good black belt there. His name was, let me think. I can't remember the name right now. Benjamin. Benjamin was his name. Yes. And yeah, he was quite dangerous on the ground, but I didn't care. I just finished him there. So yeah,
Yes,
try to hide a little bit all my skills, not just show everything at the first time.
and actually, I think that there are not many good grapplers in the heavyweight division because usually these fighters are strikers. And if you have this kind of like plan B in your back pocket, it can also help you winning the fight, actually.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, most strikers are like, I think the heavyweight mentality in general is like, I'm a big dude, I punch hard, so it's like I go in, I punch hard, and if I get him, I get him. If I don't get him, well, fuck it then, right? And that's the mentality of most heavyweights. But I don't like that actually, because it's like their style mostly is like head down and start swinging, you know. And that's why I like Mario too. It's like he has a similar style like me. He's tries to fight smart, like not just go in and bang, you know. We can do that too, but it gives you just like a 50-50% to win, right? It's like the one that hits first usually is going to win. But you want, for me, is like I want to have like 60-70%. So I want to switch it up. I want to see, okay, if I can get him on the striking, maybe he's a way better striker than me. That's a possibility. But if I start to change in with my grappling as well, then it's going to change his whole game because he has to fight differently, right? And so I try to keep all my options open. It doesn't matter if it goes to the ground or in the stand up. I try to improve everywhere at the same time.
And about state of MMA in Switzerland, how popular is it like sport for fans or even like for the practitioners?
It's quite hard. It's not that popular yet. It's of course it had an upswing with everything when, let's say, Connor or Khabib came up. You know, the big names that were shown more in the media, but it's not that big yet. So we don't have that many events. We have a couple events, but not that many. Wish we had a little bit more, especially for some amateurs to show their skills and maybe get some good talents out because we have quite some good talents in Switzerland. But the thing is, like, I always say, if the country is in a good state, you're not that hungry, you know? Like, if you go to a poor country, they're more hungry to get to the good position, right? And here you can, like, you can earn a lot of money just by doing some a little bit of school. And so most people not going to take the hard road, right? Because if you do MMA, it's going to be a hard time. You're not going to make that much money at the beginning. So you have to train a lot and pain. You have to go through the pain and everything, right? Injuries and stuff like that. So it's hard to stay focused on the grind if you're not really into it.
But sometimes it also can be helpful when one fighter will go to the UFC and he will be like a little bit famous and he can show that you can get from the like this gym or this country to the UFC. It can be like wave of the fighters.
Yes, definitely. Man, that's how it got me. You know, I was always interested in fighting, but at a certain point, because I didn't get a lot of fights, especially in amateur and heavyweight, it's so hard to get fights. That's why most heavyweights start uh, going pro pretty early, because there's not many opportunities to fight amateur in MMA, in Switzerland especially. Maybe in other countries it's a bit better, but in Switzerland it's pretty hard. And I had like, I think it was 1 year, I had 3 fights in a row that were canceled. And I was always like preparing like a month or two, you know, giving everything. And then last second it gets canceled. And of course, if it gets canceled last second, you're not going to get another fighter usually. And that took me down a little bit. So I stopped working out and training, fighting, and everything for like maybe 3 years. And then my now good friend, Volkan Özdemir, is a first Swiss UFC fighter, also fought for the title in the UFC. When I saw that he made it that far, I was like, man, that's so cool. I want to do this too. And if he can do it, I maybe can do it too, you know? And that motivated me a lot because I saw him do it, you know, something that I was like, I think it's not possible to do it from here, you know? We are such a small country, it's like they probably not even see us, you know. So I was like, man, if he could do it, maybe I can do it too. And that made it motivated me a lot to give it this push to go this hard to try to go to the UFC now.
Also, I think that his story was kind of crazy because in less than 1 year he won 3 fights and get the fight against Daniel Cormier. So it was
Yeah,
like a super impressive thing.
man. The thing was like he was like short notice because he was living in the U.S. and he came in with a short notice fight against Saint Pierre, I think was his name. And I think the guy was ranked top 10. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, okay, he's going to come in. He's just going to lose. And he won the fight. It was like crazy. And I think the UFC was like, damn, we hit the jackpot. We just got a super strong guy out of nowhere, you know? And that's pretty cool. And then he just started his rise with KOing people left and right.
Yes, and also I think that this game is sometimes this kind of crazy that you can fight on the regional scene at this moment, and like 2 months later you will fight against a ranked guy, and it happened a few times, especially in the
Yeah,
heavyweight division that is not so deep. So in the end, I think that that is also quite possible. But if you are thinking about like heavyweights from the UFC, do you have maybe
yeah.
one fighter in mind that you think that you it will be like great fight and you can win it maybe even right now?
Right now, to be honest, yes, I think I can handle most top 10 guys in the UFC without, I don't want to brag, you know. Of course, I have to prepare for them, especially, but I think I can win them against most top 10 guys because, like you said, like most heavyweights don't have good grappling. So a lot of them are not that good in grappling. And like I said at the beginning, most of the heavyweights, they just go in, try to bang it out. But if you outsmart them, like you saw it with Cyril Gahn, you know, his style was really technical, more athletic than most of heavyweights, and he was just beating them one by one because most of them couldn't switch their style, you know. And that's the I think is one of the biggest problems right now in the heavyweight division that they're like, I have my style, and if this doesn't work, I can't change nothing. They can't switch it up. They just have that one style. And the problem is, as long as it works, it's good, right? So you're not going to change it. Why should you? But if you're not going to add some things that you can change it if you need to, it's just going to be hard. And that's the good thing I think that I have is that I can switch it up. That I was like, okay, if that doesn't work, I try something else. You know, I have multiples weapons on my accessoire, you know, or in my back pocket, you know, and that's I think is a good good thing for me that I could work with some of the top 10 guys there.
And about heavyweight division, do you think that the fight John Jones against Tom Aspinall will finally happen?
Bro, that is like that I don't think it's gonna happen. I think I've not gonna. I don't want to talk shit about John Jones, but I think he's a little bit scared about Tomas Bennett. And he should be. I mean, he's dangerous as hell. He's so explosive. He's so powerful. You see him. He finishes all his fights in the first round, right? So yeah, but it would be really nice to see it. I mean, we all want to see it.
Yes, yes, definitely, especially that there is not other like clear contender for the title or interim title. The only fight that should be made right now is John against Tom.
Yeah, they should do that, or at least if he doesn't want to fight, I mean, it's okay. He did so much in the UFC, he won so much. John Jones, give the title up, or keep the division open, you know, so we can go on and maybe see a new contender. You know, I think maybe Cyril Gahn or a matchup that I would like to see is also like Volkanovski, no, not Volkanovski,
Volkov.
Volkov. Yeah, I want to see Volkov because he improved a lot, and I think also he won his fight against Cyril Gahn. I think there was a bad judgment there, so and he was if he won, I think he was the next contender for the title, right? So if they didn't do the fight between John Jones and Tom Aspinall, so I would like to see Volkov against because he improved a lot on his game, and would be interesting to see because he's really dangerous on his feet. He's really technical. So I think he can keep Aspinall away from him. If he can keep Aspinall away from him, it will be interesting to see how he's gonna handle this situation, because right now everybody's going in and Aspinall is going to take this as an advantage and just being too quick for them most of the time, too explosive. But with Volkov, with his reach and everything that he have, I think this would be a really interesting fight to see how can Aspinall handle this problem, right?
And outside of like fighting and training, when you have a little bit more
Yes,
free time, what do you like to do to like relax your mind after a tough training session?
I like food. I like to eat, and most of the time I just chill, play some video games. I love like to play video games. I'm kind of nerdy that in that way.
So it's probably like also good for your mind because you can be like focused on something else and not think about your next opponent or tough training session.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's always good to get your mind off a little bit. And I'm usually really relaxed for my fights, sometimes a little bit too relaxed, so I have to always keep myself a little bit pumped up. But yeah, it helps me to get my mind off, do something else, maybe chill with some friends. It's always good to do.
Okay, Moreno, so many thanks for the time and for conversation. I think that your next fight is a really interesting one. He's a Contender Series veteran. I think that the win should get you to the Contender Series probably, but I think that because UFC always needs heavyweight fighters, you will be like perfect fit for this spot.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.